Monsoon and 43rd Avenue, where everything has turned into a giant lake. We have more than 24 cars at least that are completely submerged underwater out here. We have all of the motorists standing on higher ground while they are just looking at this situation helplessly, not able to do anything except just watch as this area continues to get pounded with extremely heavy rain. Now, if we take a look down further, you'll notice blinking lights in the distance. We have DPS officers on scene out here, and just a few seconds before this live shot, we actually saw an officer that was trying to go up on the shoulder but spun out on the gravel because it is just extremely slippery out here, started going down off, and then almost flipped over onto its side at one point as it was going further into the water. Everything is at a complete standstill if we look at traffic on the opposite side of the freeway. It's blocked off, I'm told, starting at about 35th, and these cars have been at a complete standstill out here until right around 5 this morning. Now, earlier we spoke with a man whose car is stuck out here underwater. He says that actually officers up ahead told him to stay towards the shoulder but to continue on this way. Well, this is his car. This is what happened when he did follow those orders, according to what he told us. He says that all of a sudden it just got deeper and deeper and the water levels started to rise. He knew he was in trouble, so he forced his way out of his car, and he says he is so thankful he did because chances are officers just did not know how deep it was yet. Now, Joey's here with us this morning. You've been standing here watching your truck that is now underwater.
Since about 4:15 this morning, I was coming on the on-ramp following a semi, and the road was clear, you know, because he was moving the water. And then a big semi come on this side, the driver's side of me, like just hauling butt, and a big wave just took my truck and just spun it completely around. And I was like, and then within 5 minutes, it was already coming up over the seat. And then I left for an hour and I came back, and now my truck, just the cap's sticking up out of the water down there. So, yeah, and then we just saw that DPS do that crazy stuff, so it's pretty bad out here. That water out there at my truck is up to my chest.
Wow, what went through your mind when you realized what was happening to you out there?
I rolled my window down and got out, and then I went up to the bank, and we were up there, and then the lady out in the middle, where the car is way out in the middle, she's out there screaming for help, and everybody's standing there, so I went out there and helped her get back to the bank.
Was there ever that moment of panic that someone might get stuck in their car and not be able to make it to safety?
Yeah, I was more panicked that the semis were still coming down the on-ramp and still coming by with all the cars stuck here and just going right between them, and the waves literally flooded completely over these cars.
How do you think we ended up in this situation? Obviously from the rain, but according to another gentleman that we spoke with, he says it was actually officers who encouraged him to go on this way. Do you think this just happened too fast, or should it have been blocked off sooner? What went wrong?
I think it should have been blocked off at least around 4 or earlier, because when I got out here, it was already probably 2 feet or better. And like I said, I left for an hour, and now my truck's almost completely gone. So, wow. Yeah, I think they should have closed it way earlier, and they wouldn't even have this position right now they'd be in.
Just a horrific situation for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, what can you do? And now all these people, a lot of people only got liability. You know, it's pretty much going to lose our vehicles. So.
Wow. Have you been in touch with your insurance agent?
No, not yet, because I didn't got flood insurance anyway, and there ain't much they can do about it. I just basically got to get it home and dry it out and hope for the best at this point.
Well, there's no telling when that could be, but we do wish you all the best. We're going to continue to monitor this situation. I don't know, you can probably tell by how our camera looks, but it is just pouring. If anything, this water level is continuing to rise even higher since we've been out here for the past few hours. The rain has not stopped at all. Everything is drenched out here, and these cars just continue to be submerged even more. This is just a helpless situation. A lot of people upset, but the only saving grace in this whole thing is that, as far as we know, everyone did make it out. We have not heard of any injuries at this point.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We're in the north part of the valley for you this morning. We wanted to come up here because this area was hit very, very hard just a few weeks ago, as you'll remember. What you're looking at right now, this is Skunk Creek Wash. We're off of Desert Hills Road and about 19th Avenue. And take a look at that car stuck right in the middle of the wash. We've talked to Maricopa County deputies up here this morning who say this wash really started going around 2:45 this morning is when they first saw water starting to come through. He suspects that this car tried to pass around 6 o'clock, so about 3 or more hours into this flooding, into this wash starting to go. This driver thought it would be safe to go through. Now, in his defense, he is new to the area, so he wasn't aware that the roads can back up as quickly as they do and the washes can fill like this. But a lot of cars having to turn around out here this morning as the rain continues to fall. This road is closed for now. Others are expected to be closed as this wash continues to move south. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Heidi, that's pretty much the norm all across the valley this morning.
We're getting all kinds of stories coming into our newsroom and many areas being hit very hard. Ryan O'Donnell joins us live. He joins us now from 40th Street and Greenway. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, you know, this is a parking lot here that typically gets flooded anytime there's even a small storm, but it doesn't get flooded like this. Take a look at how big and how much water. It usually never goes over the curbs here. 40th Street and Greenway is where I'm at. And Greenway, right over here, this is the area that in that last major storm, this entire street here got flooded. Now, what you can see from this storm, if you take a look at where the Suburban's pulling out, we're seeing just a lot of cars that are breezing through and a lot of flooding that's basically just off to the side next to the sidewalks and such. So not nearly as bad as what we saw a few weeks ago in that other major storm. Now, where we just came from about an hour ago was over there at State Route 51 and Cactus. This is the area that's closed right now. What Gina's been talking about all morning long, and what they're experiencing was on the southbound side of State Route 51, they had a bunch of cars that ended up getting stalled out. And then on the other side, on the northbound side, cars got stalled out there. But then there was also a big accident that DPS had to deal with. Now, big floodwaters filled up that area there. In fact, this is what one driver had to say about what it was like early this morning.
About 4 o'clock this morning, that whole thing was flooded and all the cars hit it. Completely flooded.
Could you see it?
No. Nobody could see anything. I was next to a DPS officer that was stuck too. So it just sucked.
Everybody, so just trying to get a jump, hoping that's it, huh?
Exactly.
Oh, man. Wow. So how much water? Because it's tough to make out right now. How much water?
It was halfway up my door.
From this spot where you're at right here?
We're over there.
Okay.
It was basically underneath the overpass.
How did you get to here?
Once it subsided, the police, everyone got pushed over to the side. There was about 8 cars in the middle.
8 cars in the middle. That's what DPS is dealing with right now. ADOT was out there when we were out there. All the water had disappeared at the time when I was there, and they were basically sweeping up the area, making sure those drains are unclogged so that all the other rushing water gets down and into there. The cars are being moved. DPS trying their best to open that up, and from when we left, they said it was going to be pretty soon, because that is causing a big problem up there at around State Route 51 and Cactus. So just listen to what Gina has to say. She'll give you the updates on how that's going throughout the morning. Guys.
In fact, Ryan, I will go ahead and take that baton and talk to you about the State Route 51. And as we speak, it is still shut down. We initially thought it was open, but it's just not the case. Can we take that ADOT camera full, guys? Let's show everybody at home what the oh, look at that. It looks like at least the southbound side literally just opening up as we speak. Finally, some good news to report to you from the State Route 51. If you're watching us from North Phoenix, if you're watching us from North Scottsdale, the southbound side just opened literally as Ryan was speaking here. The northbound side still shut down. It looks like we've got some ADOT sweepers out there trying to clear off the debris that probably ended up on the roadway because of the floodwaters. All right, let's go ahead and go to the maps if we could. And you can see there the 51, that's where that closure was. It's still closed northbound there at Cactus. We've got some flooding 101 in McDonald. And then the I-17 and Greenway. Well, let me first pull up this camera there. There's the 51. And what I'd like to do is switch you over to Greenway because Greenway itself is shut down. Can you see the flooding underneath the overpass at I-17? In fact, you know what, guys? If you could help me also in the control room, let's take this camera full as well so we can show everybody at home what the flooding looks like there. Thank you very much. A better picture. And, you know, we've seen this area flood before, but you can see all the standing water. You're not going to be able to get off the freeway there at the I-17 and Greenway, so use Bell Road or Thunderbird to get around the mess there. All right, let's talk about the I-10 on the west side of town, and let's go back to the maps if we could. I-10 is shut down, the eastbound side at 91st Avenue because of the flooding. Can you see that ADOT picture there that ADOT tweeted out at 51st Avenue? All those cars that are at a standstill because of the water on the roadway. Now, let's go back to the ADOT camera. We'll show you that one full there. A live look at I-10 and 43rd Avenue. Wow, it is a lake out there, and you've got cars that are submerged up to the line there, the window line, as a result of the flooding there. We're also seeing closures at I-17. So let's go back to the I-17 map if we could. Oh, thank you there. That also too a live shot from Jill's crew there that's on the scene. And then the I-17 shut down in two different spots, down at Grant, which is south of the I-10 transition. And then also, too, we've got a closure at Indian School. For those of you who drive on the I-17, you know the freeway dips under there. Let me pull up that ADOT camera if we could. And can you see how the traffic is being forced off the freeway there? Thank you very much. You can see where the freeway dips underneath the overpass. That's where we've got the standing water and the flooding, and that's why everybody's being pushed off the freeway there. We're looking at all kinds of closures on those freeways throughout the valley because of this storm. And also, too, we haven't even talked about the surface streets, so be very careful as you head out this morning because we are not out of the woods just yet, April.
Absolutely not. And the valley has literally never seen rain like this before. This is officially the wettest day on record now, at least for Phoenix Sky Harbor. In fact, we've more than doubled the old daily record, but we have never gotten more than 3 inches of rain at Sky Harbor Airport. And that's where we're at right now. Just updating this total, we were just shy of 3 inches about a half an hour ago. But you know what? The rain, it's not letting up, at least not for parts of central Phoenix and over where the airport is. So we're at above 3 inches now, which, by the way, year to date, we've been several inches below average. We're now only about 1/10 of an inch below average. It'll be interesting to see if this storm catches us up because it almost completely has already in just one morning. Yeah, no wonder we're seeing the type of flooding that we're seeing out there this morning with rainfall totals like these. Chandler continues to be our highest rainfall total at 5 1/4 inches, but many spots are not far behind. Maryvale, 4 1/3 inches, more than 4 1/2 inches now in Tempe. Gilbert just got another round of showers. You're at more than 3 inches now, 3 1/2 inches in the Mesa area. Scottsdale is just shy of that 3-inch mark, but many parts again in and around Scottsdale, closer to Arcadia and Paradise Valley, more than 4 inches of rain this morning. We're coming up on 2 inches in Deer Valley, and we're at more than 2 inches, 2 1/4 inches in Cave Creek. Here's a look at the part of the valley this morning, which is almost the entire valley under a flash flood warning this morning. For the Sun Lakes area, it is until 10 a.m. For the rest of the valley, a flash flood warning until 10:30 this morning. Again, a flash flood warning means that kind of flooding is either imminent or is happening right now, and we've been showing you it's happening. As we take a look across the valley this morning on Doppler 360, what you're going to notice here, it's raining in almost the entire valley. We are starting to see a break, though, from west to east, spreading in across the West Valley. This is great news this morning. Unfortunately, for the Southeast Valley, though, you've got more heavy rain coming your way. This is coming up through Sun Lakes right now. It's going to move up toward the Loop 202 here in parts of Chandler and then move up through Gilbert and Mesa. More rain in an area that, again, has seen more than 5 inches so far. Along that Loop 202 in the Northeast Valley, we've got more rain right now, again, lifting up toward the north, still raining on the 51 and the 17, but finally seeing that clearing here from west to east. We still have a chance of storms for the rest of today, but again, the heavier stuff is probably going to be during the morning hours and across the state this morning. We have some rain and some thunderstorms in northern Arizona and also beginning to develop in southern Arizona, but no spots that are getting hit quite as hard as the valley this morning and what is turning out to be a historic event, thanks in part to Hurricane Norbert. The storm is falling apart. It's no longer a hurricane. Doesn't matter, though. It's pushing a whole lot of moisture into Arizona, helping to fuel this heavy rain. Your forecast for the rest of your Monday, about 84 possibly by lunchtime. I think we'll top out either in the upper 80s or low 90s this afternoon. Chance of showers throughout the day today, and there is a chance of showers tomorrow and Wednesday as well, about a 30 to 40% chance before we dry it out eventually and warm it up by the end of this week. Stick with us. Much more on Good Morning Arizona.